Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf, here today in Crystal Palace to explore some railway heritage. Well, it's absolutely crazy to think back in 1935 one of the world's biggest buildings was actually on this site, made of glass and wrought iron for Crystal Palace, built for the Great Exhibition in Hyde Park and then moved here, and then a year later, 1936, totally burnt to the ground. And yeah, it's been a park ever since, but when we go up there I'll show you on the ground. I mean, you can still see the footprint of the building, and just over the side here the Crystal Palace Tower. I'll come back down here in a moment and talk about the Italian steps. A lot of building work going on, I'm not sure why. Well, the reason I'm here, the subway. I've wanted to visit this for an awful long time. This is the old subway, been closed for many years and has undergone extensive restoration. Let's head down. Sounds like there's quite a lot of people down here. Very echoey. You can see how all the brickwork's been cleaned up. And just there the mast, Crystal Palace mast. Right, at the bottom of the stairs, the doorway, and into the atrium. You can see here a picture of what it was like, image to credit to the Historic England Archive, and yeah, this is it restored now. Wonderful, what a wonderful space. Now, the reason I knew about this is because of the model railway over here. Now, it's not normally open to the public, but I found out about this down at the Bluebell line, talking to a gentleman working the railway here. Yeah, a little bit crowded, but I saw the model here down at the Bluebell line earlier in the year. This is from the Southwark Model Railway Club, and is a model of the high level station here at Crystal Palace.
The exhibition at New Cross Gate.
This end you can see the Fiddle Yard running all the way down there. Quite a sizable layout with plenty of roads running side by side. Nothing running at the moment, but the high level station at the far end. We'll make our way down in a moment. So this subway was built basically when the trains came in, brought people from central London to Crystal Palace when the palace was here, went into the high level station, and it's quite a long walk up the hill, over the top of the hill and back down to Crystal Palace. So this subway was built to alleviate some of the crowds and make a walkway through from the station to Crystal Palace.
Essentially, this is the actual way main road through via the auto subway, and then you actually see the staircases. So once it comes down, you'll essentially be next to the palace.
I do like all the archways on the far side. I remember those from down on the Bluebell. The loco and train makes its way into the station.
So most stations are pretty much utilised to convey people to the palace if there are events going on. When this opened, as in the latest edition, you had it's a lengthy station.
Not a great deal of the station left anymore. The retaining wall on the far side is still there, although cut down, and I believe that the arches at the far end there are still in place. But the rest of the station is all long gone, which makes this model absolutely fantastic. Now, right over in the corner there, you'll see the clear roof. Well, those two little arches in the corner, that's the entrance into the subway that we're standing in. So you'd go through those two arches, that would then branch out into the four arches where we are at the moment. And this would be the exit from the station for the first class passengers. Third class would exit at this end. They would still have to walk up and over the hill, but first class would exit at this end through the subway and straight into Crystal Palace. Now, as the gentleman was telling me in the Bluebell, this is a work in progress. It's taken many years to get to here, and you can see the roof trusses, all laser cut, 3D printed sidewalls, and you know, there's not not a kid of this, so it's all scratch built and looking absolutely wonderful. And right at the end here, the road heading around the corner there, and you can see the little turntable at the far end. But as I say, I don't think any of this is still here. So we just looked at the model there and given some context. So where you see that peaked roof there, that's where the sort of clear roof would have been, and the railway, just the far side of that. The station would have been here, and the two arches would have led into the four arches. I'm standing in one of the centre two, and if I just turn round, this is what would greet you. One of the most wonderful pieces of railway architecture in the country, and truly fabulous. You can see the light fittings still in the ceiling there, and they're just panning down, trying not to get too many people in my shot here, but you can see the flagstone floor, which would have been black and white. And if we move forward, you can see you can sort of see the colour contrast on these a little bit clearer, but truly magnificent. So as a first class passenger, you would alight through two tunnels at that end, which then led into the four, and then you'd head through the archways here under this beautiful ceiling and up into Crystal Palace at the far end here. Well, just chatting to the lovely gentleman that told me about this wonderful open day, and he's just brought me down here, confirmed that where the brick changes, one there and one over there, it says watch your step, those are actually where the arches used to be, the two arches, and the third one to the right of that would head on to the concourse. And he said if you know, on any other day, you know, where it's too crowded today and this is the fire exit, but if you go out to the retaining wall there, look over the edge and turn to the right, you can still see the tunnels from the station. And he also told me that during the Second World War, this was used as an air raid shelter, and this bit here is part of the toilets that were here. It is really fantastic. I'm desperate not to get too many people in the shot. Yeah, there's quite a few people down here today. This area is really not open very often, and used as an event space. Well, that's the proposal, is to use it as an event space. It is fabulous. We're just reading a couple of inserts here. So the visit to the Crystal Palace low-level station, still in use today, face an uphill walk to the palace on busy days. The station was overwhelmed by crowds, and there's a little cartoon on the thing I'm reading from that shows the crowds on there. To improve access, a second station, Crystal Palace High Level, was built directly opposite the palace. And while any ticket holder could use the high level station, it's said that the subway was reserved for first class passengers. So the actual station that's no longer there was designed by Edward Middleton Barry, and the subway by his brother Charles Barry Jr. The subway's fan vaulted ceiling in Charles Barry Jr.'s distinctive Italianate style is built from brick. It's little more than 30 centimetres above the arches, but supports the four-lane road above. Well, as we'll come to later in the video, Crystal Palace was destroyed by fire in 1936, and the subway survived. During the Second World War, as I mentioned a minute ago, it was used for an air raid shelter with bunk beds and toilets installed. The station itself was closed in 1954 and demolished in 1961 with no clear purpose. The subway briefly stored statues, then hosted community-led events for 20 years. Unofficially, it became a hidden hangout for teenagers. and believe it or not, later a rave venue. What a marvel of the railway age. Well, just to reiterate then, so the 4 arches that are there basically led through. You can just see them over the back there. If I just looking on this area here, if you look through the glass, you can see the 4 arches. This is the concourse just outside at the far end, and would head through into the station through the arches here. These 2, one inside the building, one right in front of me, still exists, as I just showed you on the brick wall. This one would have led onto the concourse, and then looking down the track to the right at the far end there, you'd see the tunnel. Love the facade on the station here. Loving all the paving that's down here, and the way it edges into the grass on the side here.
Yeah, it's just models.
It's a wonderful layout. Gentleman was telling me 35 years it's been in progress. There's a very informative display here. Down the bottom there's some of the pictures of the subway before restoration, and some pictures of the high level station before being demolished. Well, use your imagination. 100 years ago we've just left the steam engine in the high level station and made your way in from central London, and you took the platform across the concourse here as a first class passenger. Walk down through the archways. All the excitement building for a day out at Crystal Palace. Out into all this bright light here with the glass roof. And then up the steps as you make your way into the entrance of the palace. Well, it was 1854 that Crystal Palace was moved here from Hyde Park. Basically opened in Hyde Park in 1851. It was here for 82 years, and it's only standing here, get an appreciation of actually how big the building was. Right the way down there to the Italian garden at the far end by the steps, and would run right off down in this direction as well, and right to the edge of the hillside. Stood here for 82 years. And as you're probably aware, burnt down in 1936, and yeah, I think a real loss, although from what I've read it was suffering some hardship financially towards the end. I was hoping to go down onto the Italian steps, but it does look like there's some work going on them, but we'll head down there anyway. Well, I was hoping to walk down onto the Italian steps, but not sure what they're doing here. I'll have to have a read, and maybe I'll put in the caption what all the building work here is. But maybe just some restoration on the steps, a lot of scaffolding around them. But just here, literally just the other side there, this is where that famous scene from the Italian Job was filmed, with the only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Yeah, it's filmed just here on the paddock. There's Paddock Road, which is part of the old racetrack that ran through here. Well, you can see here the top of the Italian steps, and yeah, they do look like they're under restoration. There's a lot of quite clean stonework on there, so that's really good to see. I did mention earlier in the video some of the stones still here from Crystal Palace. You can see them there. going to walk along for a little bit. Right at the far end of the building is what remains of the Crystal Palace Aquarium. Yeah, a lot of it in ruin. Well, it is in ruins. I think there are plans to try and, or at least, well, not restore it, but protect it. I think that's the idea. And just at the end of the aquarium, I'm pretty sure this is it, and somebody will correct me if not, but these are the foundations for Brunel's water tower. So there was one at either end of the Crystal Palace, and using pumps, pump the water up into the top of the tower, and then use the head of water to power the fountains and irrigation systems. And yeah, that's the foundation that's still here. I forget when the towers were toppled, but one quick look at the Crystal Palace aerial. Well, some way down the hill into the park is the lake with the islands and the dinosaurs, but that's for another video. I shall save that for another day. The dinosaurs are still there, and yeah, unfortunately I don't have the time to go all the way down there today, but I will come back and do a full tour of the park. I did have the pleasure of parking my Mini right here in front of the steps. This was a few years back when I did the London to Brighton mini run, along with another, well, I don't know how many minis were there, hundreds of them, but we were all lined up just here. But I've walked back up to the top now, and you can see the footprint running all the way to the hedge there. This sort of dip in the middle here would have been where the great big arch in the middle of the palace would have been. And then again, the hedgerow running all the way around the outside there, giving the size of the building. So I was surprised how big it was. You see various places on the ground as I walk across. Some of the foundations and footprints that are still here. And statues as well. One just here in front of me.